Hello, I'm going to show you how to set up some key bindings for Trouble in Terrorist Town. There's a few that are very important for the game and will help you play a lot better. So to start, you hit Escape, Options, Keyboard, and there's a few you're going to need to know. The C key, the Show Context menu, that pulls up your Trader and Detective point shop menus where you can use the credits to buy Detective and Trader things. That's pretty obvious. The V, or no clip mode key, this will quick switch to your knife, if you have one. So that's important. You also need to know the undo key right here. This drops ammo out of weapons that you're holding, so it'll drop the full magazine that's in the weapon reloaded currently when you hit that key. If you want to get ammo out of weapons that are on the ground, that's very important because you can drop your primary, pick up a different one, and spit the ammo out of it to get an extra magazine. Now here are some keys that many people don't know about. The first one is the last weapon used key. This will switch to the last weapon that was in your hands. And it's not binded by default, but it's extremely important because you can basically quick switch any weapon, including grapple hooks, to this key just by equipping a primary weapon and then equipping a grapple hook. That way you can whip out a knife or a grapple or anything really fast to get rid of them. Another thing is you need to have a console key binded for the next step, and to activate the console you go here in advanced and then enable developer console. So there's one more key that you need to know, which is suit zoom. This pulls up the Trader context, not the Trader context menu, the quick context menu that lets you call up people and say yes and no, which looks like this in game on the left there. You can see that you have all these things you can say. So you can use that to say help, you can use that to call people out, you can use that to say that they're innocent. Anything like that. However, sometimes you would like to bind one of those things to a single key. That way you can quickly call someone out with one key. And in that situation, you're going to need this next step, which is where you're going to go to the console after you've binded it and enabled it there. So now you're going to hit your tilde key, pulls up your console, and you're going to need to know the bind command, which looks like this. That lets you bind any key to any command that you're allowed to use in the server you're on. So the command that we need is the TTT_radio command. And here are all of the different settings you can use. You can say TTT radio yes, that's number 1 on the context menu. TTT radio no is number 2. TTT radio 3 is the help quick command. TTT 4 is imwith command. C suspect. Traitor, innocent, or NO check, live check, whatever you want to call it. So the most common one I would say is probably Traitor, which is TTT_radio space Traitor. If you do not type it like that, it will not work. So if you're in a game, that'll call people out. I'm not with anyone else, you can't really see it. But to bind it to a key, you need to combine the two commands. You need to say bind. You're going to need to say your key, which I will leave blank for now. And then you're going to need this command. Now, you can just leave it like that, but that won't work because the command sees the space and thinks that it's adding another thing onto the end when you actually want the whole command. So you need to put quotation marks around the command, that way it reads it as one line instead of this line and then that as a second line. So that this command will work if you want to call someone out. You can also replace Traitor with anything else. So you can replace it with yes, you can replace it with no, you can replace it with help. Anything you want. You can say imwith. But for now, we'll just bind it to Traitor. Now, the key is not going to have anything around it when you type it. So, you're literally just going to type the key. If I want to bind K to this, I'd just type K, and then there's a space between everything here. So go ahead and write that down if you need to. But you don't want to use K. You want to use left alt because it has no purpose except to silently check bodies. And if you go into a game, that should work. Again, you can use any key you want. You don't have to use alt. I just use alt because it has no purpose really in the game, and it's right next to the spacebar, so I can hit it with my thumb easily. But that's how you do it. You get your bind, you get your key, and then quotation marks, TTT, underscore radio, and then whatever you want to fill it with. Traitor is the example here. And key doesn't work, but you can see that would work. What I would recommend is go into here, and if you see that the key you want to use gets replaced by something else, then you're going to have to rebind some stuff, because you can't have a key binded to two things without typing a console command in for that. But that's a more advanced thing. Normally you want one function for each key, otherwise you're going to get really confused with your commands. So I'll leave it at that. Hopefully that helps.